Hello. Well, let me see. Polish up a little glass here. Okay. So here it is, Christmas 2025. It's actually today is December 21, and I have a book, Babar, Babar, and Father Christmas. Babar is an elephant, and this book is written by Jean de Brunhoff. Born in 1899 in France, he was a painter, and inspired by a story his wife told their two young sons about Laurent and Matthew, about an elephant. And he turned that simple story into a big illustrated storybook that we all know, the story of Babar. So then there were many, many other smaller books, including Babar, the King of the Elephants, as well as the ABCs of Babar before he died. So I don't know, he was only 38 years old, died from tuberculosis. And after World War II, his son Laurent began writing and illustrating new Babar books, often referred to as the father of the contemporary picture book. Jean de Brunhoff, we'll have to ask Marie Camille how to pronounce this guy's name, Jean de Brunhoff. So anyway, it inspired generations of children's book authors, artists everywhere. And this book was, it's kind of a weird Christmas story. I have Waldo and Nomi, who are here visiting with me. It says here, it's a wonderful, quirky Christmas story only Jean Brunhoff could have created. Babar goes in search of Father Christmas. Can he find the Yuletide saint? Will Father Christmas have time to come to Elephant Country on his busiest day of the year? Maybe together, Babar and Father Christmas will come up with an idea to make all the children in Elephant Country very happy. And there's all kinds of characters. And this was published originally in 1940. And it's the last book that was written by Jean de Brunhoff at the age of, before his unfortunate death at the age of 37. By the way, why do I love elephants? Well, I always loved elephants, kind of. But when we bought the Colonial Theater, a couple of years later, Perry's Nut House had elephants on it, and there was a big auction. They were going to sell everything off, and I became obsessed with the idea that the elephant, the big elephant, which is named Hawthorne, and it's a female because she's the mom of baby Hawthorne, who is in the basement. So these two elephants were going to be sold on Route 1 at Perry's Nut House at a big auction. And I became obsessed that if we put it on the roof of the Colonial, it would be the most amazing thing on the planet because everybody would come to see it and it would be so great. Anyway, I talked myself into paying a lot of money for it. And I would have paid more, but like everybody stopped bidding. I won. I think I paid $1,850 for the big elephant. I would have paid, I had already talked myself into like $5,000, and I might have even gone more. But luckily I didn't. Then, and this was all at an auction, and I told everybody, I'm going to put them on the roof of the Colonial Theater. And everybody's very, very excited, very unusual at an auction that people are happy that you are winning something, or, anyway, they were. Then the baby, which turned out to be actually the item people wanted, because he's sort of an American craft, he's handmade, and, all that. And all of a sudden, it's in a real auction. Like, people are really bidding for it. People really want it. And all of a sudden, the crowd started screaming at them to stop and don't separate the elephants, and they should go to the colonial, and everybody stopped. And we won the elephants. And they both ended up in the colonial, one on the roof, one in the lower lobby. And it opened my eyes to elephants, and I started paying a lot of attention to elephants. Therese even visited an elephant sanctuary down in Arkansas, and we have given a little money to elephant sanctuaries. And if you ever want to feel good, look up videos of baby elephants, and you will be amazed how good it feels. Anyway, they make you happy. I'm going to read Babar and Father Christmas. I'm reading this for Valentina and for Wilder and for my darling wife Therese and for anybody else in the family, and I'm also sending them these books. Okay, let's go to page 1. It's not a long book. Okay. Babar and Father Christmas. One day, Zephyr calls to his friends, Arthur, Palm, Flora, and Alexander. Listen to this wonderful tale which I've just heard. It seems that in man's country, every year, on the night before Christmas, a very kind old gentleman with a large white beard, wearing a red suit with a pointed hood, flies all over the countryside. He carries with him great quantities of toys and gives them to the little children. They call him Father Christmas. It is difficult to catch a glimpse of him, for he comes down the chimney while one sleeps. Next morning, the children know he has been there because they find toys in their shoes. Why shouldn't we write to him? By the way, he's telling, it looks to me like it's Babar, but maybe that's just a big baby elephant. Next morning, the children, why shouldn't we write to him and ask him to come here and see us in the elephant's country? Oh boy, look at all this. They're all dreaming about their presents. 3 cheers. What a fine idea, says Alexander. But what shall we say in the letter, says Arthur. We must write and tell Father Christmas what we would like him to bring us, suggests Pop. Let's consider very carefully before we write, adds Flora. They remained quiet a moment and think it over. Zephyr decides a bicycle would be just what he wants. Flora would like to have a doll. Alexander wants a butterfly net. Palm, a big bag of candies and a little teddy bear. And for Arthur, his dream is to have a train. And Arthur is the big baby elephant. Then, each having decided what to wish for, Zephyr is chosen to write the letter, for he has the best handwriting. By the way, Zephyr is a monkey. He applies himself to his task. Arthur remembers that a stamp must be put on the envelope. Then they each sign their names and go off together in great glee to mail the letter. Every morning, the 5 friendly friends eagerly await the postman. They rush out to meet him as soon as they see him coming. But, alas, although the postman searches carefully, there is no answer from Father Christmas. One day, Babar happens to see them, and he says to himself, whatever can be the matter with those children? They look so dreadfully sad. That's Babar behind the fence right there. So he calls to them and says, come on, tell me what's the matter. And Zephyr tells him the story of his letter. And you haven't had an answer? Is that it? Asked Babar. You must have forgotten to put a stamp on it. Oh, no, we didn't. Arthur remembered too. Well then, Father Christmas hasn't had time to answer it yet. Cheer up and run along now and play. Possibly you've given me a great idea. Babar paces thoughtfully up and down. Don't forget, he's the king of the elephants, and he wears a crown, and he smokes a pipe, and he's got a green suit on. Yeah, he's quite nicely dressed. And he's lost in thought. I wonder why I never thought myself of asking Father Christmas to come to the elephant's country. The best thing to do would be to start out at once to find him. If I ask him personally, he will surely not refuse to come. His mind made off, Babar hurries off to inform Celeste, that's Mrs. Babar, of his attentions. She helps him to pack and get ready, and he's got a very nice cabinet full of clothes. And she would like very much to go along, but Babar explains to her that she'll be needed at home to rule the country during his absence. The king cannot leave the place unattended. And also remarks that queer characters like Father Christmas are often shy and rarely allow themselves to be approached by more than one person at a time. Babar arrives in Europe after a very good journey. He has just stepped from the train, and in order not to be recognized, he has left his crown at home. And you can see he's got his little coat and his hat. Got a guy carrying his suitcase, and it looks like the train station in Paris, by the way. And he stays at the Hotel de Coq Rouge, which is I think that's the Red Rooster. Is that the Coq Rouge? Anyway, he drives to a little old hotel, which is quiet, clean and quiet, and is given a room which pleases him. Next, he undresses, washes up a bit. One always feels so refreshed after a good cleaning up. What can be making that funny little noise, Babar wonders, while he drives himself off. Without moving, he looks around. All of a sudden, he sees 3 young mice. The least timid of them says, "Good day, my stout sir. Are we to have the pleasure of your company for long?" This is a hotel room. Most people would not like 3 mice in their hotel room, but Babar is not a people, he's an elephant. And even though they say elephants don't like mice, apparently it's not bothering him at all. On the other hand, ask Marie Camille how she likes mice. Ooh la la. Oh no, I'm just passing through. I'm looking for Father Christmas, answers Babar. You're looking for Father Christmas? Why, goodness. He's here in this very house. We know him well. We'll show you his room, chorused the 3 little mice. Well, how wonderful. What really extraordinary luck. Just give me time to put on my dressing gown, and I'll be with you, cries the excited Babar. That's a dressing gown is what he calls his pajamas. Those pajamas are putting me to sleep. Okay. But where on earth are these little mice leading me, wanders Babar as he stops a moment on the stair to catch his breath. Father Christmas must live way on top floor. No doubt he likes to have a good view and plenty of open space around him. While Babar is making these observations, the 3 little mice reach the attic. Whatever are they doing over there in that corner? They seem all excited. Where are you? Up here in the attic. Come quickly. We have taken Father Christmas down from the top of the tree. When Babar joins them, the delighted little mice say, there is Father Christmas, lives here peacefully the whole year round, except on Christmas Day when they come and get him and they put him on top of a Christmas tree. After the holiday, he takes his place in the corner and we come and play with him again. But Father Christmas is a little thing they put on the top of a Christmas tree, and the mice think that's Father Christmas, which he is, but not the Father Christmas. But this isn't the only one I'm looking for. This isn't the one I'm looking for. I want to find the real live Father Christmas, not a doll, says Babar. And next morning, Babar hears a tapping at the window and sees some sparrows outside on the sill. And they speak to him and say, "We understand that you are searching for the real live Father Christmas. We know him well and are going to take you to him." And off they fly joyously. Pointing out the way to Babar, they lead him across the big bridge over the river. "We're almost there," they call. "We usually find him around here. He sleeps under the bridges." "Well, that is strange," thinks Babar. "Well, there he is," cry all the little birds together. "He's over there next to that fisherman." Babar, still a little astonished at this old fellow's odd appearance, greets him, says, "Excuse me, sir, but are you truly the Father Christmas, the one who brings all the toys to the children?" "Alas, no," answers the old man. "My name is Lazzaro Campiati. I'm an artist model, and my friends, the artists, have nicknamed me Father Christmas. Now everybody calls me by that name." Very much disappointed, Babar strolls thoughtfully along the river banks, and he is in Paris because those are the booksellers along the Seine River. And that's where he is, down on the Seine. Stopping, he's going to stop at the book, okay. Stopping at one of the bookstores, Babar finds a book with pictures of Father Christmas. Boy, this book is long. I'm going to be surprised how long it takes. Oh, yeah. Stopping at one of the bookstores, Babar finds a book with pictures of Father Christmas, or as Valentina calls her daddy, Father Christmas. He quickly buys it, takes it back to his room, examines it more carefully. Unfortunately, the text is written in a language which he does not understand. He goes down and explains his difficulty to the hotel manager, who helpfully gives him the address of a professor at the school where his son is studying. Mr. Giulianes will surely be able to translate your book. Without losing a moment, Babar is at the door of Professor Giuliani's house, ringing the bell. He finds him at home, but after a glance at the book, he says, "I'm sorry, with great regret. I am unable to read it either. He gives Babar the address of the famous Professor William Jones, and an hour later the professor carefully examines the book, shakes his head gloomily, and he says, "Your book is very difficult to read. It is written in old-style Gothic letters, and they say he lives in Bohemia, not from the little town of Pribjeniswisses. But I don't, you try and pronounce it. But I do not find any more definite information on this point." So Babar goes off and sits on a bench in the public park to think the matter over. The birds recognize him and come over and inquire whether he has found Father Christmas. "No, not yet. I only know he lives far away from here near the town of Pribjeniswa. Truly, this is a difficult search." Just then a little dog who is passing by says to Babar, and the dog's name was, what's the dog's name? Oliver. It's a little dog named Oliver. "Pardon me, sir. I'm very good at finding things which are lost because I have a very highly developed sense of smell. If only I could have a sniff of that doll which Father Christmas gave to Virginia over there, I'm sure I'd be able to help you find him. I would be glad to go with you because I'm a little homeless dog." By the way, Oliver used to be a homeless dog until Matt found him, or Oliver found Matt. Upon hearing these words, Babar looks at the dog and says, "Agreed. I'll take you along with me." Then off he goes to buy a beautiful doll for Virginia, which she gladly accepts in exchange for her other one. Babar lets the dog sniff the old dog and feeds him a piece of candy. And before starting out, Babar goes back to the learned Professor William Jones, who returns his book and gives him a few additional descriptions and directions. Father Christmas apparently lives in a forest on a mountain About 12 miles from Tribjibdiswa, Babar arrives at the little town after a difficult journey, and he's riding in a sled with Oliver the dog, Ollie, he calls him, and it is a very cold and a great deal of snow has fallen. Babar therefore equips himself accordingly. He buys some skis, hires a sleigh, and has himself driven to the foot of the mountain. Pretty soon he has to get out, and accompanied only by his faithful duck. He actually calls the dog. He doesn't know the dog's name is Oliver, but he started calling him Duck, like quack, quack. And he starts to climb in the direction of the mysterious forest, skis on his feet and a heavily laden pack on his back. And Duck is very much excited. He sniffs here and there and yaps softly. Now he stands still, his tail lifted, his nose twitching hard. It looks like he has caught the scent of Father Christmas. Suddenly, Duck is off on the run. I've got it, we're on the right track. His loud barking echoes through the woods. But what is that stirring in this wild forest? It is a band of little mountain dwarfs who have hidden themselves behind the trees. Duck would like to see them nearer by, but they rush at him, pelting him fast and furiously with hard-packed snowballs, which land on his head and his eyes and on his sides. Half choked, half blinded, his tail between his legs, Duck decides to retreat. He quickly runs to rejoin his master and arrives breathless, feeling very foolish. When Babar sees him, he stops short and asks, "What happened?" Duck then tells him of his adventure with the little beaded dwarfs. "Well, good, we must be getting near. I'm very eager to meet those little dwarfs. Lead me to them." A few minutes later, it's Babar's turn to meet the dwarfs. By the way, they're all dressed in Santa outfits. They try to frighten him too, and rush bravely toward him and pelt him. But Babar, being a big elephant, calmly takes a big breath and blows it out hard in their direction. They all tumble down one on top of the other, and as soon as they can scramble back to their feet, off they run and noiselessly disappear. Babar roars with laughter. Ah ha 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 ha! That's how an elephant laughs, big and loud. And he continues on his way, following Duck, a.k.a. Oliver, who has now found the scent again. The little dwarfs run to find Father Christmas, and they tell him all at once, jabbering at once, that an enormous animal with a long nose blew on them so hard that he knocked them down and chased them away. Father Christmas listens attentively. The little dwarf adds that when they fled, this big monster was quite near, and that guided by an ugly little dog, he was headed straight for the secret cave of Father Christmas. How's this story going so far? I should have had water. They were right. Babar is nearing the cave, but a storm of extraordinary violence suddenly bursts upon him. The wind blows so hard that snowflakes prick his eyes and skin. It is impossible to see. Babar struggles. This book's putting me to sleep. Realizing the danger of obstinately forging ahead, he decides to dig himself a hole. Then he rigs up a roof with his skis and snow plows and some snow blocks. It's like making an igloo, like the Eskimos do. Whoa, it is cold and my trunk is beginning to freeze. All of a sudden, Babar feels the earth giving away under him, and he and Duck drop out of sight. They fell in a hole, like they went through a hole. They were in an igloo, and now they fell in a hole. Without realizing it, they have dropped right down through the chimney into the cave of Father Christmas. "Father Christmas," cries the amazed Babar. "Duck, we've arrived at our destination." Whereupon he faints, worn out with fatigue, the cold, and the excitement. "And quick, little mountain dwarfs, forget your quarrel. We must undress him and get him warm." And they have him right in front of a fire, and they all set to immediately. They take off his pajamas, and they give him a good rub, working over energetically with big brushes. The dwarf chemist gives him some brandy. Uncle Matt does not drink the brandy. Uncle Mike, no more brandy for Uncle Mike. Then finally they give him a big bowl of hot soup with Father Christmas, and they give him a new bathrobe and thanks him from the bottom of his heart. Okay, here they are. This is when he falls through the hole. There they are, giving him a rub. There's the other rub. And there he is, sitting in his new pajamas. Ooh. These guys live in a complex. While Father Christmas shows him around, Babar explains that he has made this long journey to ask him to visit the elephant's country. Won't he distribute toys to the elephant children just as he does to the children of men? Well, Father Christmas is much touched by this request, but he tells Babar he will not be able to visit the elephant's country Christmas night because he is very tired. "I had great difficulty last year in completing the usual delivery and distribution of toys to the children all over the world." "Oh, Father Christmas, I understand perfectly," says Babar. "But if this is the case, you must really take care of yourself." "Well, why not live on the earth's surface for a while and leave your underground home? Come back with me now to our country and bask in the sun where the elephants live. It's nice and hot all the time. And lots to eat for elephants. A very easy country to live in. And then, El Babar says, you will be rested and cured for Christmas." Charmed by this suggestion, Father Christmas instructs the little dwarfs to keep an eye on everything for him, and then off he goes in his flying machine, accompanied by Babar and Duck. Here they are in the elephant's country. Oh, Father Christmas has arrived. Thatched roofs, palm trees, monkeys. It looks like they brought the 3 mice with them. Father Christmas admires the countryside and is quickly surrounded by the elephants who rush over to meet him. Palm, Flora, Alexander hurry over too. There's lots more elephants besides just Babar's. Babar's young friends, but everybody wants to get in the best view. Arthur has climbed to the roof of the house, and Zephyr, the monkey, of course, is up in a tree. When the excitement quiets down, Queen Celeste introduces her 3 children and Arthur and Zephyr to Father Christmas. "Oh, you are the ones who wrote me. I am delighted to meet you, and I promise you a Merry Christmas." Father Christmas often goes out riding on a zebra. Maybe. Babar rides along on his bicycle. Now, there's nothing like an elephant on a bicycle. And Father Christmas takes a sunbath for 2 full hours every day, following Dr. Popopoulos' instructions. Sometimes Palm, Flora, and Alexander come to watch him as he lies in his hammock. But they are careful to make no noise so as not to disturb him. One day, Father Christmas says to Babar, "My dear friend, thank you very much for all that you have done for me. Christmas is nearly here, and I must leave to distribute the awaited gifts to the children of men. But I'm not forgetting the promise I made to the little elephants. Can you guess what I have in this bag?" "A real Santa Claus suit made for an elephant, made to fit you, Babar. It is a magic suit which will enable you to fly through the air, and your bag will always be full of toys. You can take my place here Christmas Eve. I promise you I'll return when my work is done, and I'll bring the children a fine Christmas tree." On the night before Christmas, Babar follows out these instructions. As soon as he puts on the suit and beard, he notices that he instantly becomes lighter and at the same time able to fly with ease. I want a suit like that. This is really extraordinary. And what a good way to distribute all the gifts to the children. Thanks, Babar. So all the kids are playing in their bedroom. Babar's got his suit on. I usually take a nap right around now, and I'm getting there. And he hurries in order to get through with his task before dawn. What joy will there be in every house on Christmas morning when the little elephants awake? In the royal palace, he flies from house to elephant house. And he's got the suit on, and he's looking in, and now the kids are awake, and they all got what they wanted for Christmas. Yeah, little elephant babies. He hurries in order to finish it, and in the royal palace, because he's the king, Queen Celeste peeks through the door of the children's room. Palm is emptying his stocking. Flora is rocking her doll. And Alexander is jumping up and down on his bed. What a wonderful Christmas! What a wonderful Christmas! They have a big, beautiful Christmas tree. Back then, they used to put candles on them. Don't do that. As he had promised, Father Christmas comes back, bringing them a beautiful Christmas tree. And thanks to him, the family celebration is a great success. Arthur, Zephyr, Palm, Flora, and Alexander, and Queen Celeste too, have never seen anything as beautiful as this fir tree, all shining with lights. Next day, Father Christmas flies away again in his airplane to rejoin his little subject, the dwarfs, in the underground palace. On the banks of the big lake, Babar, Celeste, Arthur, Zephyr, and the three children sadly wave their handkerchiefs. Fortunately, Father Christmas has promised to come back to the elephants' country every year. And that, my friends, my little friends and my old friends, is the end of Babar and Father Christmas.